All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This is another edition of our weekly real estate backstory. And so we have a lot of really cool things to kind of share with you. We kind of want to start off this week by kind of going over, this is a seller's market. There's just no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But with a seller's market comes some misconceptions that we really need to be sharing with our sellers. We need to prepare our sellers yes, the sellers have a lot of advantages right now, much more so than our buyers do. That market is going to be shifting to a more level playing field over the next year or so, kind of thing. But it's still going to be a seller's market. But that being said, sometimes our sellers a little bit big for their britches. Sometimes they don't know what to expect. So some of it's going to be an education thing on our part.
It's not about bigger for the britches, but it's more about education, understanding what the market's doing and making a wise choice, because everybody's situation in real estate transactions is different from the other. So you can't assume because one is this way, the rest of them will be the same way. That's not the case.
So let's talk about some of the seller misconceptions that we need to help our clients be prepared for. So the first one is, hey, we're going to be under contract in 3 days. No, just not. Like, yes, can we garner a lot of interest in your home? We can, but it depends on price. Mm-hmm. Even at the end of the day, like with all the marketing and all the video and the whole 9 yards, at the end of the day, it's still really going to come down to price. If the property is overpriced, we're not going to have a lot of activity. We're not going to have a lot of multiple offers, that kind of stuff. Excuse me. Which brings up the next point. Which brings up our next main talking point, and that is that a lot of sellers just think that they can price their property sky high, and that's really not the case.
And you may have a unique property too sometime, and that's the case. Ask them to get it pre-appraised prior listing it, just so they're not leaving any money out of the table. Mm-hmm. Not only that, if let's say they're in a subdivision and their house is the smallest square footage, you can't compare that among someone that's got 500 or 600 larger square footage than your client's mm-hmm. property and justify that same sale price.
Yeah. The next is that a lot of our sellers think that they don't need to make repairs or upgrades. And so do we have to do less of those? Yes.
Absolutely.
But by the same token, does that affect price?
Absolutely.
Yes. It's one of those like, well, my kitchen hasn't been updated and I've got really old carpet and the walls, need paint. You're not going to fetch high pricing. You're not going to fetch the best price on that property. I don't care, there is a return on investment mm-hmm. ratio in there. And so, if they want that top price, then the house has to be in top price condition kind of thing. Now, can we sell any home at any price? Yeah, basically we can. We've seen where, all kinds of things,
the market is only going to bear what they see. So it's like buying the same product from Dollar General versus at a TJ Maxx, same product. Guess what? There's going to be a price adjustments because of where it's located.
Okay, I'm not. Okay.
But,
I'm not sure about TJ Maxx.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, I'm using shopping. Of course, a lot of people like to shop. But anyways, it's like saying the same product, but if your house is not updated, or if it's got a lot of deferred maintenances, the price is going to adjust.
Yeah. The other thing is that a lot of our sellers want to sell their home as is, and that actually hurts their liability. Plus, anytime that if we have a buyer that's seeing a property that's listed as is, no disclosures, no nothing. If it's not a bank-owned home, then your spidey sense should start tingling and be like, well, then why? What are they trying to hide? And that really does end up hurting them in the long run on there. A lot of our sellers will be like, well, I can just sell it myself kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And boy, that's one of the three biggest regrets of sellers overall is that they should have used a real estate agent kind of thing out there.
And then they have done a study, and this is not biased, but clients that use realtors typically average 14-17% more in the sale price than they do not.
Yeah. A lot of our sellers think that selling a home is just like on HGTV. And that could be farther from the truth. But, a lot of them well, we have to have an open house because you're going to have like 500 people and we're going to sell it right there. I'm sorry, Buttercup. That's not how this works. So we need to explain what that's like, because about 40% of our sellers right now are first-time sellers. They don't really understand how that works out. A lot of our sellers think that the agent that offers the lowest commission is the one that's going to do the best job.
No,
and I'm sorry. Like I find that the realtors that do a really good job and know what they charge, and they charge a fair price, do a really good job and get much better marks and much better returns for their clients than the discounters. And I'm sorry if you're a discounter, you may disagree with my statement. That's my own personal feelings.
But if you think about flat fee listing, let's talk about that real quick. What kind of service do you get? Zero. And do you know whether or not that's a really good qualified buyer or a lucky loop?
Yeah.
Not only that, how about safety? I mean, there's a lot of factor. And how do you negotiate through the transaction if you're not being represented by an agent? Because there's some experienced agent, they know how to maneuver to where they can outsmart the seller.
Yeah.
No offense, the seller doesn't practice real estate. They will not know.
Yeah. The next one that's really one of my big favorites is, but Zillow says, and it's super easy right now to come back. Well, I mean, what Zillow says doesn't really matter, because I'm pretty sure that Zillow can't even buy houses what they say that they can buy them for. So but we do, a desktop evaluation is just not going to be a replacement for a knowledgeable real estate professional. It isn't. Probably the last thing is that we have a lot of folks, I spent all this on upgrades. I hate it for you, but that doesn't make your house worth,
personal enjoyment. And yes, your property will sell quicker than your next door neighbor who's got the original.
Right. But if you put $10,000 in in-floor heating, you're not getting $10,000 back out for it. Right. And so, if you built this massive deck on the back of your house, can it maybe increase your value a little bit? But overall, the appraisers are going to appraise for all the other homes in that neighborhood within this certain range. It's not like you're going to get a huge boost for that deck. You might get some, but you're definitely not going to get everything you put into it, kind of thing. So we just kind of want to share that we need to keep our sellers grounded. The market is going to be slowly shifting.
Absolutely.
and we kind of want to jump into that because it kind of ties into kind of what's going on right now. So the Fed came out last week. So the Fed had their big meeting. And so in that meeting, they came out and they said, hey, we are going to speed up our tapering of bond purchases.
What does that mean? Interest rate?
Well, it does, but let's talk about that a little bit more first. So first thing is that they were planning on tapering down their bond purchases throughout August, September, somewhere in there. Now they're going to be completely done with all their bond purchases by March. And so that's going to be a pretty steady decline. Now, in addition to that, they're looking that they haven't given us the exact dates, but they're looking at 3 different increases in the federal funding rates in 2022 and 3 more in 2023. And that's how much businesses, and banks and things like that, that's what it costs to borrow money, kind of thing. And so all those are steps that are going to be, right now, the Fed is really trying to manage inflation. Suddenly the Fed finally got to the point to where, I think we've all been, which is like, hey, inflation's really here. And
somebody got the memo.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the assignment.
Not funny. I know that.
Yeah, inflation is no joke, but by the same token, the Fed up until now has said that inflation was transitory, and now they're like, okay, maybe it really is here, and so now they're taking these steps. So we're seeing that kind of go ahead, but what happens is that mortgage rates went up as soon as the Fed now it's only gone up 0.2%. So it was 1.10 last week. It's 1.12 this week. But we're looking at a pretty steady increase, especially through March. I'd say we'll be at, 3.2 to 3.4 is going to be pretty common. I would guess maybe 3.5 by the end of March.
And you know what? I think the Fed did that on purpose, simply because they know typically end of February, March is open season for us.
Yeah, we're moving right into that spring buying season for sure.
So therefore, they feel like if they can get the interest rate where it needs to be, with a demand for housing during that time, it will sustain.
Yeah. So, just to show where it's where the interest rates have moved in just a year. So we're at 3.12. A year ago, it was at 2.67. We were at our record lowest interest rate, like forever, last year.
That is almost half point, and that's about a $25,000 purchase power that the buyer is losing with the different interest rate.
So depending on how you take this, you can be like, oh no, the sky's falling. Where we really prefer to go with this is that, look, we need to get our folks pre-approved. You need to be involved in the housing market, right? Because we're not seeing housing pricing dropping. We're seeing interest rates going up. So if you're going to buy, now's the time to buy, right? Now we really need to be progressive if we care about our clients, that kind of thing. We got some new news. The unemployment rate is basically almost back to normal. You can see where it was like pre-COVID times kind of thing. And boy, things have just been, it's getting better and better on the employment front. We've seen a lot of big budget increases and I'm just going to make up words today. That'll work out. In what's happened with the salary increments kind of thing. Now, the only thing about the salary increases is, and that it does come with a big but,
of course,
is that what's inflation doing? We've seen more inflation is going up. So yeah, we are seeing wages increase, which has really been good. But again, there's that but, with inflation at 6.8%, which is the highest since like 1980 something. That means that those increases are really much more moderate kind of thing.
Right. So if you're having inflation 6.8 and you got an increase of 3.2 and salary, you're just basically an adjustment of income, basically.
Yeah, you're basically staying flat, which is not necessarily good news. Now, the good news is that if you look at where we are at in total jobs, we're almost back to pre-pandemic times, kind of thing, as far as total jobs. The total jobs now, again, I'm not getting political, and I don't know exactly what the crystal ball holds for Omicron and COVID and the whole 9 yards, but as it stands like right now, it really is looking pretty good. Because NAR also, Lawrence Young, he shared kind of some of his predictions kind of thing, and showed what we're looking at on real estate sales and kind of where we've been historically. Now, if you look at like 2016, 2017, 2018, 19, those were all really good years in real estate. Well, look at just the home sales moving forward for 2021 and 2022 comparatively. We're looking at still being really good
great
times. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Still a lot of transaction.
Now, we want to spend a little bit of time because, again, the National Association of Realtors has released some information out there on home buyers. And I know that we're talking about sellers this morning first thing, and now we kind of moved into buyers, but we really need to understand what's going on in our buyers and in the minds of our first-time buyers. So we got some great information we really want to share with you and just kind of narrate a little bit kind of thing. So 76% of our first-time buyers are Gen Y and Gen Z kind of thing. And so they really do make up the biggest percentage. So we're seeing more younger buyers moving into that first-time buyer range, which is really good kind of thing. Now, how long are they looking to buy? So overall, 72% of first-time buyers want to buy in this next year. So of that, the biggest percentage is really looking at buying in, the next 3 months, which is really, really good. And I think that's exactly what we need to be seeing happen going into. We need to have a very strong spring. Interest rates are going up. Believe me, they're going up. If you care about your clients, you want them to get locked in now. You want them to get a house first part of the
Now.
year. Yeah. I mean, it's always tricky. That week of Halloween, of Christmas and New Year's is always kind of a tricky time in real estate. A lot of folks take off. A lot of property doesn't get listed, that kind of stuff. People don't want showings, with presents around and that kind of stuff. So I understand it's a little bit tricky, but we need to be ready to rock this thing out first part of the year. We really, really do. So
after you have your Christmas, please go ahead, get back on your calendar and start scheduling.
So what are the buyers doing? What are their steps towards buying, kind of thing? And so the very biggest thing is that they look at listings online. And I don't think it's a real news big shocker to anyone, but we need to look at the power that has for us on being able to market our listings. Like when we market our listings, we really need to put those out on social media. We need to put our contact information out there, because not only doing that, they're researching the home values. They're pulling up comps and things like that as best as they can, without a realtor kind of thing. They are talking to family and friends about real estate advice, and then being with contact with a real estate agent. Around 30% of them get in contact with a real estate agent early on, but they may not be ready to buy right now. And that's one of the biggest challenges for us in the real estate world, is that a lot of times somebody's like, yeah, I'm really interested in buying, but they've got that 6 to 9 month window. And we don't do a great job always keeping up with them, kind of thing. They're looking for information about real estate processes and requirements and open houses. Look, these are all things that we should be talking about on social media, sharing out videos, putting out, sending out emails into our databases and into all of our sphere of influence and that kind of thing. About 10% of these folks who are looking to buy in the next year haven't done anything. Like they're just sitting there like ready to be plucked. Okay, so we need to be the ones who are being really aggressive.
Actually, just start a very stimulating conversation with them. Say, have you done this? I mean, what's your goal? Can I help you with your goal in obtaining a home? So, and with that, hopefully come to a consultation. And, this time, honestly, agents, y'all need to partner up with your lender and say, hey, let's do a first-time home buyer seminar and reach out to your sphere of influence, because new year, new resolution, let's get everybody into a home.
Yeah. All right. So 61% of our first-time buyers hope to buy a home below $350,000. Now that is a really wide range, and we'll break that down a little bit more, kind of thing. But basically, our first-time buyers are buying much more expensive homes than a lot of first-time buyers in past generations. Part of it is just that homes cost more. I totally got that. A lot of folks are budgeting a lot more, spending, really cutting their spending and that kind of stuff. But this is where the biggest breakdown. Now, we still have about 25% of folks want to buy homes less than $100,000, which we know that there's very few and far between. But that, if you look at it, it's almost 25% looking to buy between $200,000 and $350,000. Now between $100,000 and $200,000. I mean, right now we see where anything under 200 really is a very desirable price range. Nearly half of our first-time buyers are looking underneath in that area, kind of thing. Now the good part, I don't know, it depends on how you look at it when I say the good part, but 3/4 of our first-time buyers are willing to go over budget. And we know that they're in let's just be honest, what's the number one thing that buyers have to compromise on right now? Price, right? I mean, that's I don't think anyone's like, no, I'm hoping to spend a lot of money on a home. I totally get it, kind of thing. But when you look at reality, and if you're going to buy a home, these are the price ranges and what it's going to cost out there. What are first-time buyers looking for? So what is the most desirable thing that first-time buyers want to see? And I was really kind of surprised, because some things really kind of moved around on us
just a little bit
with coronavirus and with that kind of stuff. We've seen more outdoor space being an important thing, but the fact that large backyard is the number one thing. So having space, being able to get away but still be in your own space, that's the number one thing. Number two, garages. like, just having that place to park your car is a really, really big deal for first-time buyers. Yeah, well, I mean, you're right.
Too for some folks, and also, they work really hard to obtain what they have. So to have that garage to store items that need to be protected outside of weather, but don't want to be in the house is important.
Right, but see, in the past, updated kitchen, updated bathrooms, open floor plans were much higher on this list. And those are some things that have actually slipped down. And now, I mean, kitchen is still important. Kitchen's always important. I'm not trying to negate that at all. But now quiet location is one that's really that's really moved up. Yeah. I think finished basements, people want more space. Guest room, open floor plans moved down. Space for pets moved up. A lot of folks during coronavirus went and you couldn't find a dog to adopt, that kind of stuff.
Every pet was adopted fairly quickly during that time for companionship.
Yep. Now, what are our first-time buyers looking at when it comes to their budgeting and willing to pay over list price kind of thing? Right now, around 20 to 25% of our buyers will not go over list price. Okay, we just need to know that going into it. So, for those sellers, you're like, I'm gonna put it here and wait for the price to go up. I think that right now, we're going back into times when we're going to see a lot of buyers being willing to go full price, but we're not going to keep seeing a lot of pricing over offers moving forward. I really don't think is what we're looking at here. How are our first-time home buyers going to be handling competition? Well, first thing that they want to do is they want to check the listing websites every day. So setting up your clients on automatic searches is so important. Oh my goodness. This is what they want to do. They're going to be putting more cash down, making offers within 48%. About 20% of them are still willing to go over budget, but that other 80 is not willing to go over budget on there kind of thing. They want to set up price alerts, which is really back to, setting up automatic searches, that kind of stuff. So,
and put larger earnest money down. And honestly, as inflation increased, some of the savings are being decreased from the homeowners. So and also with the rising interest rate, they're now unable to afford a much higher price home. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. And this is just a much more updated and broke down list of what is the most important home features. We already kind of highlighted this. I just wanted to share it again
in a graph format.
Yeah, kind of thing, which is so. But in addition, some other characteristics here. 15% of buyers purchased a new home compared to 29% in 1989. Now, this doesn't seem like oh well, no, that's not something we already know, Al. Right? I'm with it, but for our first-time buyers, and for mainly for our first-time buyers, how many are buying new construction? It's a really
especially the inventory of
Well, yeah, because most of our new construction is priced out of first-time buyer range.
Yeah, 350 plus, most of them for the square footage you're looking for.
The median new construction home price in the U.S. right now is $408,000.
Well, you're talking about California too, so
it's about 400 in Georgia. So but no, our builders are not really buying that. So I don't bring this up to bash the builders. I bring this up to say, when we're dealing with buyers, we have to help set clear expectations. Are our buyers, or most of our first-time buyers, going to be able to look at new construction? We need to be honest about what's going on with pricing with them out there, because we're just not seeing where the buyers are meeting that demand out there. There's a lot of demand for that product. There's not a lot of product to meet that demand out there. This is another really cool fact. Buyers are looking on average 8 weeks and 8 houses. So they're going to view 8 houses, even during now this has gone up, because this used to be, we looked at 5 houses. Pre-pandemic, we were looking at 5 houses. Now we're looking at 8 houses. And part of that is definitely, as far as like multiple offer scenarios and just due to competition, that kind of thing. But, I think it's really good that we have a clear idea when we take on a buyer. The number one thing that buyers want is an agent to help them find the right home. That's the number one thing that buyers want from us. And so when you put that together, and now you look at, okay, the number one thing they want is that it's going to, the average client I'm going to have to work with for 2 months. Now, it doesn't mean that that's the only client you work with, but you need to expect that we're going to be going through that home buying process, the home selection process for 2 months. And we're going to look at 8 houses. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm saying that's what it is. That's what you need to be setting your expectations. For years, Ming and I have always had kind of that 5 home kind of thing, really 4. If I had to show you more than 5 houses, that was, I kind of felt like that was on me, like that there was something wrong with me. Right now, that number really is right around 8 kind of thing. So if you're working with a buyer, you need to expect that you're going to be showing about 8 houses to them on average. That's what we're running. Now, if you're still doing that, I showed this client 52 houses over the last 3 weeks. Then at that point, you're just nuts. Okay. I mean, you're basically working for free. Sorry.
Well, not only that, there's not that much inventory out there. And if a client is contradicting themselves every time you go see a house and what is negotiable and what's non-negotiable, then you may have to sit down with them and narrow down that negotiable and non-negotiable list, because at that point, they're not going to find a house, one, they really truly want, and 2, they may have buyer's remorse as soon as they put in a contract.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that when we are working with first-time buyers, we want to make sure that we kind of share, like what are those home costs? What are those unexpected expenses that a lot of our buyers are not prepared for? And so these are the most common underestimated expenses. And first one is always repairs and maintenance. You know, like you got a house, and if you used to be in an apartment, something broke, you called the landlord, you called the property manager, that kind of stuff. Now who's the property manager now? You are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Homeowners insurance, HOA fees. Gosh, we've seen some HOA fees just skyrocketing over the past year and a half, kind of thing. We're also seeing property tax increases, and that's definitely tied to property values. The more the house appreciates, which we all love appreciation when it's our house, and then the tax bill comes and we're like, we hate that part, right? Significant repairs, mortgage insurance, that kind of thing. So, but we need to be sharing these with our clients. Steal this slide, share it with them, that kind of stuff. If you want, we'll share it with you guys as well, kind of thing. But we need to be sharing these and communicating. This is another great topic for a social media post or video or something like that. So overall, now housing starts have picked up as 2020 is coming to a close. So, up overall kind of thing. Right now, our new construction is up about 15% year to date from where it was. So we are seeing an uptick in new construction. That's the good news. The bad news is not really, it's all higher price stuff. We don't have much entry level stuff coming in there. Matter of fact, you can kind of see kind of what's been going on. So we are starting to trend back up. This is our 12-month moving average, gosh, for the last 21 years. And so you see that big valley right there in the middle. That's where we have not met. I mean, you can see 2005, 2006, we were ramping up. But this huge valley, and so people are like, well, why is housing so crazy? Why,
That's because during the downturn market, nobody's building.
Well, we made babies faster than we built houses. And there's only so many houses we can build, right? Like there's not enough land, that kind of stuff. I mean, when you look at the number of homes we were building in like 2004, 2005, gosh, even 2000s, way more than what we're building now, kind of thing. So, it's time for us to move back into that. I think we're only going to see that move when we still see the builders shift more into more affordable options. And that's why we see a lot more. And if you haven't seen it, be on the lookout. There's going to be a lot more townhomes in the suburbs coming up. We know of a lot of townhome projects, because townhomes is really kind of that starter home for our younger generation kind of thing. Right now it
is.
Because price point. Like back in our day, it was that 3-2 ranch, and you just don't really see that out there. I mean, that product is not there. So we're seeing where the townhomes really kind of fit in that bill kind of thing. The other thing that's happened is that contractors, oh my goodness, are they hard to find, right?
We know that.
Try getting a rehab done right now. It is ridiculous. And I'm not trying to say that they're not worth it, but contractors are tough right now. And I bring this up just, because for a lot of folks that would have been a seller and a buyer, because they couldn't find what they wanted, it's just, in a lot of cases, they think, gosh, it's just cheaper if I'll just make this place what I want it to be, until you actually have to get ready to do that. Like we're updating our, we're renovating a house right now and kind of seeing the same kind of thing. That's a statement we hear a lot more by folks that don't really know what they're talking about.
Correct.
Doing renovations and finding contractors, that is a much bigger, more daunting task than a lot of our clients can believe that it really is. They just kind of think, well, I'll just pick up the phone.
It's not as easy as Chip and Joanne with shiplap.
Yeah. Just smack some shiplap on that bad boy and you're good to go. No. And so the contractors there's not a lot of them. And the ones that are out there, you're going to spend some good money, and you're going to be on we had one of our friends got a bid, and they'll start work in the next 4 months. So, that kind of stuff. So, because the contractors are so behind, 3 to 6 months being even starting projects is really, really common right now. Realtor.com and Redfin remove crime data from their listings. And this is one that I feel a little bit torn on, because on one hand, I want our consumers to be able to make intelligent choices. I don't want to be accused of steering. Now, Redfin and Realtor.com say that they're afraid that it's perpetuating racial inequality. Now, and I'm not trying to do anything based on racial inequality, but by the same token, sometimes, that's a lot of times as realtors, we get asked, is this a safe area? Am I going to be safe here? Are my kids going to, is this a good, that kind of thing? Usually
with any consultation, buyer consultation, I normally point out on the GAR contract where the GBI website is, as well as the DEA, which register all the meth house.
Well, you have those. We also really like Crimegrade. This one is a free service. It's crimegrade.com. You can go in there and it'll pull up, and this just pulls up general heat maps of overall crime. You can break it down to property crime, violent crime. You can break it all into different kind of things. And it just kind of, and you can zoom in all the way to certain, and it does it basically by zip codes kind of thing. And it zooms in and gives heat maps on how intense or not intense the crime might be in that area. I want to have those resources for our consumers to be able to search. So, like Ming said, as far as like the GBI and some of our local different municipalities list it differently. Some cities there's some city data out there. There's some county data. Some counties don't report anything. And so it makes it really hard to kind of give this blanket statement, oh, just go to the Henry County. Well, you're not going to get it there. Well, just go here. You're not going to get there. So, the one, as far as the GBI and Crimegrade, this kind of stuff, it gives some good overall information. I want to provide our clients the ability to kind of know what they're going into. And I want to give them data sources so that they can go look it up. We still have to be very, very careful that we're not steering anyone. Absolutely, we don't want to make those comments about, well, this is a scary place, or you got to wear Kevlar here, or whatever kind of thing. That's not where we need to go. We don't have an opinion on that, but we do need to have the resources to help our clients educate themselves on how they feel about that. This generation is the most concerned about health and safety than we've ever had in the past. And so we have to have some resources ready. We just wanted to offer a few up there because right now, I understand why Redfin and Realtor.com is doing it, but we still have to have a way to protect our clients.
Your client want to know, Crimegrade is a great site for your client to go look.
Yeah. Sorry. Thanks for cutting that chase right there. All right. So the Treasury is looking at putting in new rules on all cash real estate deals. Now,
why is that?
Well, mainly because there's been some unsavory people out there that basically get a lot of money and then they go buy real estate with it, because in the past, and even like you guys know, you go to a closing and it's an all cash closing. It's kind of like, where's the money? You get wired in, let's go, right? So I understand that, but and this is not a done deal yet. But right now, some places it's super easy to do it, and some places it's a little bit more tricky kind of thing. I mean, right now it's
the attorney basically had to do some work in the back end,
yeah,
invalidating a certain thing that the government is going to pop mandate at some point. Yeah. So just be prepared for it.
So yeah, we're just trying to give you a heads up that you're probably going to see more if you do a lot of all cash transactions. There will be more disclosures. There is going to be more digging into the background, that kind of thing. Rent growth. Now, this report shows out that rent growth is cooling across the country. And is it? Yes and no. Okay. And what I mean by that is this time of year, rent always tapers down. And even if you look in like 2018, 2019, you can see that it's always blue on the edges. And it's always red, or it's darker red in the middle. Now, we've seen a very strong summer, fall.
It is tapering down, but it's not blue.
But it's I guess what I'm saying is it's normal to see that. Do not think that rents.
Well, a lot of times people put a topic on a headline and not really giving you the information, right, what it really means. So we just want to make sure you understand that even though it's tapering down, it's tapering down according to season, not necessarily the price.
Yeah. Year over year rent growth in Atlanta, Georgia is 19.1%.
That's huge, y'all.
Almost 20% increase. And so, yes, we've seen property value increases, but now how about if you've been trying to rent a house? My goodness.
Can you imagine take 20% of your disposable income, such as, theater, ice cream, different things like that, and now you have to put that in rent.
All right, there's been some talk. I even got asked this week kind of thing about buying virtual land. And so first of all, this is not a real estate, like we're not licensed for virtual land sales out there kind of thing. And but is it going on? Yeah. Yes. And like I said, I got a phone call this week talking about like, hey, do I need a real estate broker to buy virtual land kind of thing? And it's kind of funny because, for me, granted, I'm not into,
cyber,
all that kind of stuff. I'm just not, I'm not doing a lot of it kind of thing. We play with it a little bit. We try and stay educated on it, but I just wanted to kind of, like earlier this year kind of thing, a piece of virtual land sold for $900,000. There is the Decentraland out there kind of thing. And so there are investors buying in this digital space out there, and they really are going on. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not promoting it, but you may get the same questions I got, which is, what is it? And so, out there, it's that blockchain virtual reality platform where you go out and basically they sell off 16 meters by 16 meters, basically 52 feet by 52 feet, blocks of land, kind of, or virtual space,
intangible.
Yes, NFTs, right? So if you're going to do it, if you have someone who wants to do it, they're going to go to that marketplace. So for like, if you're going to go to Decentraland marketplace, you're going to go to their marketplace and sign up for that. Then they're going to go in and select their parcel of land, and then they connect their wallet to it, and then they buy it. Big deal. So that's not. I'm not. I mean,
I'm not laughing at. I'm just thinking it's funny because our world always evolving and always changing, and what makes virtual land popular is the hype and the people, folks that are interested in that common space. So, is it tangible? Absolutely not.
No, but
that's why it's called virtual. Now, are people spending money?
Lots.
Absolutely, yeah. Just like your kids will spend money on gaming on virtual. So, how that's going to pay out in the future?
What does that mean to like real estate practitioners? zero, basically, is kind of my
It's
feeling.
a new set of rules out there.
Are there folks that are going to want to play in this digital space? Absolutely. Is that something that's going to be regulated on a local state by state real estate license for?
I mean,
no,
really,
but we are going to get asked about it. And so, if you get that question like me, I just wanted to kind of like there is virtual land. As weird as that sounds to me, that sounds about like saying, hey, I can sell you some land on the moon.
Right.
Like I could sell you a piece of land on the moon, but I have no rights to do that either.
And that's what it sounds like. And it's like it's almost like a .com. Well, if you did .com, it was virtual. Come on.
Yeah, but I just don't see it really that way.
But anyway, to each his own. We all have a different likes, dislike, and also preference. So there we go.
Now we always taper off. We don't do very many classes, week of Christmas or New Year's kind of thing. Now this Wednesday, Dana is teaching the GAR 2022 contracts virtually. So if you still need to get that, Dana is teaching that Wednesday on virtually. You can find it on mx1training.com. And then all of our offices are going to be closed on
Christmas Eve to enjoy the holiday with our family. Thank y'all.
So I hope you guys have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. You guys have a great day. Thank you.